What's up guys, welcome to Daily Refinement. In today's video, we're going to expose one of eBay's dirtiest secrets, so please smash the like button and subscribe if you want more tips on how to grow your online store. Alright guys, we're going to get straight into the secret, which is eBay doesn't care how long it takes you to sell your item. You pay a listing fee either through a store subscription or an insertion fee every single time you list an item, and now that Good Till Canceled is for every single item, every single 30 days you incur that fee. So eBay doesn't really care how long it takes you to sell your item. On Amazon, since they actually store the items for you as a seller, they want you to sell your items at a minimum 1% sell through per day. So after 3 months, they start charging you more fees because they want that item gone. On eBay though, as the seller, you incur the cost of storage. So for eBay, it doesn't matter if your item never sells. You pay a commission to them every single month as long as your item is still active. So I'm going to go over in this video why they do that and what you can do about it. I have 3 major things to discuss with you guys. Number 1 is that eBay spends millions of dollars every single day driving traffic to the site. So because that traffic is so expensive, they actually funnel that traffic to the best sellers. Now, what does the best seller mean? It actually does not mean largest sellers. It means the best sellers, which is the best deal and the most relevant. You could be just starting, list your first item, and eBay recommends all their traffic to you because you have the best deal and the most relevant item. So I think a lot of people are confused and they think that best sellers means largest sellers. That's not true. I would much rather be a small store of all great items, all relevant, all listed properly, than a large store of items that nobody wants, listed incorrectly and not relevant. So it's really important to understand eBay spends so much money on these customers coming to its website, they don't want to waste that traffic. They're going to give it to their best sellers to give themselves the highest likelihood of converting that customer. Number 2, it's important to focus on velocity. And this is how fast your items sell. So for me personally, I'm moving my inventory right now within 1 week of when I get it. When I was on eBay, the velocity was 3 to 4 months. If I wanted to increase the amount of traffic that eBay gave me, I would actually reduce the time I have my item. So as interesting as that sounds, you would make more money pricing your items a little bit lower in most cases with common items because the turnover would be quicker. Now, if you sell more rare items, discounting the item doesn't really make it sell faster. I know that's like a huge secret that a lot of people don't know, but if you have a huge store full of rare, unique, interesting items, they're not as price sensitive. If you have a cool peacock hat at $39.99, discounting it to $29.99 doesn't bring more peacock customers to the yard. There's not that many people looking for that hat. But if you sell something like a computer where everyone is looking for that, there might be 60 people online right now looking for a MacBook. So those 60 people, if you adjust the price $5, sometimes that's enough for it to pop. But there might only be 1 person every month looking for a peacock hat. So there's really no reason to discount the price. So thinking about velocity helps you pick which items. Now, this is a very delicate balance because the unique, rare, interesting items have a higher profit margin. So you almost have to have both of these types of items in your store. The fast-moving common items that sort of pay the bills, keep the lights on, and then once in a while you gotta make some money. You gotta have eBay throw you a bone with a really nice profit, but those items just take a lot longer. One example I wanna give is one seller that I've been following for a long time is number 1 in the men's suit category. He has 5,000 items available. His store is Goose Guy 84. This is Brian. Brian sells about 10% of his items every single month, which is nowhere near what we talk about in the group of the 1% sell-through rate. But that's because all the items in his store are unique, great brands, expensive. These types of items don't sell as fast. So for Brian to reach his listing reseller nirvana, which is 20 items listed a day, 20 items sold, he needs 5,000 items in his store, right? Compare that to, there's a lady in our group, Carrie. She's almost at the list 20, sell 20 nirvana. Her store only has 1,000 items in it. So very different. 1,000 items selling 20 a day, listing 20 a day versus 5,000 items for Brian, listing 20 and selling 20 because the types of items in the store dictate the sell-through rate. So if you're selling expensive, unique stuff, Brian could do a 50% off sale and probably still only sell 30 items. But Carrie's store with 1,000 items, if she does a 50% off sale, she might sell 800 items because these are items that are common that people are looking for. She's in the jean category. So there are certain jeans that sell through really quickly. There are certain jeans you have to wait years and years and years to sell. So it really depends on what you're selling. Velocity is really important to keep in mind. And my recommendation is to have fast moving product to pay the bills and the slower moving, more expensive product to build your margin. Some of you are familiar with the former CEO of GE, Jack Welch, and what he would do is eliminate the bottom 5 to 10% of the employee force that was the least productive every single quarter, every single year. So he was constantly trimming the fat. So I actually recommend this with eBay, and I never talked about this on my videos before, but let's say you have 1,000 items in stock and the average age of your items is, let's say it's 2 months old. But the lowest, least productive 50 items in your store, let's say the bottom 5%, those items have been in your store for, let's say, 2 years and they've never sold. If you get rid of those items, like you literally take them out of your store and donate them, maybe your average age of your store goes from 2 months to 6 weeks old. So it makes your store seem like more of a spring chicken, maybe more relevant, maybe your velocity is better. So I actually recommend you do this. The bottom 5 or 10% of your store, maybe every single month you go in there and heavily discount, heavily promote, maybe you delist and relist these items after your listing goal and improve the items to make sure this bottom 5 to 10% moves out of your store. The most important part is to actually get it sold. So for me, I don't mind taking an L and pricing those items at $1 plus shipping, $5 plus shipping, just to get that velocity boost on all my better profit items. So for me, if I'm gonna sell it for 10, I probably would still sell it for 7. So it's almost like every single item under $20, I just accept every single offer because those items are so easily replaced. On the items that are over 50, those items I'll wait a little bit longer for the money. And the items 20 to 50, that's sort of the sweet spot. I actually think the sweet spot for eBay is between $20 and $50 for most sellers. If you're looking for that common stuff that'll sell quickly, $20 to $50. Under 20, that stuff is way too common. So it's difficult because a $19 item might not sell at $8 because there's not enough people looking at it. But a $40 item, if you discount it to 30, it's a much better deal because it's a more premium item. So I think everyone should focus on $20 to $50, and it's okay to have a smaller store that's better stuff, higher quality, more relevant, priced aggressively. That stuff is better. So if you're trying to make eBay less risky, you want a small store with better stuff. If you want to increase your risk, which I don't recommend, bigger store, more common stuff, more antique, rare, interesting things because those sell slower. And in those scenarios, you need a lot of space and you need a really cheap cost of goods for it to work. So appreciate you guys. Hopefully this is useful. See you next time.